What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 56 of JK Sports Talk. We are back. Once again, it's just me. But today, we're going to be going over what happened during week one of the NFL season. A lot happened in 1 week, so it was a very interesting week for sure. We saw a lot of interesting stories around the NFL, such as Daniel Jones, of course. We got more to it also. Let's get started. Daniel Jones was just the first that got on my mind, but we have a lot to cover in the NFL. So let's get started. First game, Thursday night football game between the Cowboys and the Eagles. This one was surprisingly pretty close. In my eyes, it was pretty close. The Cowboys, the final score was 24-20. The Philadelphia Eagles got the win. Let's do a quick recap. Number one, after the weather delay, both offenses look completely dead, especially the Eagles. They looked fantastic in the first half. And then it just all of a sudden, both teams just started to forget how to play football. In the second half, there are only 3 combined points. Those 3 points were by the Eagles. But I have a few things to say about this game. On the Cowboys side, they didn't look terrible. They actually looked pretty good. Until the last, obviously the fourth quarter was tough. But Dak Prescott, I know his stat line isn't amazing. He looked good. If you truly watched him play, you can tell that he played really well. Dak played well. It just, the problem was, do you know who kind of sold at the end? It was CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb dropped some huge passes, really big passes that would have probably changed the outcome of the game. The Cowboys could have easily won this game, but CeeDee Lamb had 3 drops. So, yeah, it was tough. It was tough for sure. But Dak played well, and also Javonte Williams having 2 touchdowns. Interesting, very, very interesting. And yeah, it wasn't bad. I would say for the Cowboys side, they shouldn't be upset with this loss. There were a lot of good things to take away from this game, and they kept it close. But now looking at the Eagles side, the Eagles obviously kept up, got the win here. Jalen Hurts had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had a very solid day. He was 19 for 23, only throwing 4 incomplete passes. He looked pretty solid. He looked all right, looked good enough. And we saw a lot of players on this offense that really stepped up. We saw Jahan Dotson step up. We saw Will Shipley step up. A.J. Dillon had a few carries, which was good. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith didn't have the greatest days, but he'll get better. It was also very rainy there, so I would not be worried about them. We saw some good games by Jordan Davis, Zach Bond, and we saw their rookie, Jahad Campbell. He had a very solid game. He forced a fumble. The defense for the Eagles looked good. The defense looked great. I know the Jalen Carter thing at the beginning. That was kind of funny, though. I was a little worried for a second. I'm like, wow, is he going to be out for the... Well, at first, I'm like, is he going to be out for the game? And he ended up being out for the game right when it started, or before it really started. So I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. So it was interesting. I'm like, wow, this could completely change the outcome of the game, which it did not, but it was a lot closer than we all thought. Props to the Cowboys for keeping up with them. I was very surprised myself. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next game here. We have, next game we're talking about are the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers, in which the Chargers got the win, 27-21. We have a lot of things to take away from this game for sure. Number one, Hollywood Brown. Let's start on the Chiefs side. Hollywood Brown looked very solid. He looked solid. 99 yards for 10 receptions. Very solid performance for him. And Mahomes, he looked all right. He didn't really do anything crazy. I believe he did throw an interception. I'm looking at the box. He did not throw an interception. He just had a solid game. Their offense wasn't amazing. That was the problem here. We saw Xavier Worthy get hurt on his first target, which was tough. But we did see Kelsey, Juju, Hollywood Brown get involved in the offensive side. Once again, I wouldn't be too worried if I were the Chiefs. They'll be fine. This was just a rough game, especially on the defensive side here. They had a lot of tackles for losses. I'm looking at the stat line right now, but they couldn't come away with the win. Their defense was just poor, and that's what happened. On the Chargers side, Justin Herbert looked very good. Justin Herbert looked very solid. He had 318 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he had 32 yards on the ground as well. And yeah, Justin Herbert looked great, and I'm happy to see Quentin Johnson, 2 touchdowns. Fantastic game for him for sure. I really want to see him do well, as he's been labeled a lot of things like dropping passes or whatever. Ladd McConkey played all right, 74 yards, 6 receptions, nothing crazy. And you saw Keenan Allen get involved. He had a touchdown, seven receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. But we saw a lot of different things on the offensive side for the Chargers. I wish we would have saw more of Amari and Hampton. He didn't play amazing. He only had 3 yards per carry, which wasn't great. But the Chargers, they played well. The Chargers, their team played very well. I'm looking at this. They had 8 quarterback hits. Their defense was on one. 3 tackles for losses. They had 2 sacks. It was just an overall good day for the Chargers in general. And there's a lot of takeaway for the Chargers. This is a very good start. Beating, by far the hardest team in the AFC West in the Chiefs. Game one, not even home in Brazil. That's a great start for the season. There's a lot of takeaway from the Chargers side. The Chiefs side, for the Chiefs side, I wouldn't be too worried yet. You just have to make sure that everyone around Mahomes can keep playing well. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Next game we're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Atlanta Falcons, in which the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got the win. This was a fantastic game that almost went to overtime. However, you saw what happened. Missed the kick, Younghoe Koo. You don't see that a lot. It came at a bad time. At first, I'd say, I have Baker Mayfield on my fantasy team. The Buccaneers were struggling at the beginning. The Buccaneers were definitely struggling, but they figured out a way to come back. Not necessarily come back. It wasn't too far. At halftime, it was tied, but you just saw their offense was stalling. Baker Mayfield, though, ended up with 3 touchdowns, only 167 yards, but still a solid day, good day enough to get the win. And obviously the main story here is Emeka Egbuka. I don't think I pronounced that right, but you know who he is. 2 touchdowns, 4 receptions, and 67 receiving yards. Fantastic game for him. His first career game as rookie for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Great start to his rookie career here in Tampa Bay. He will be the receiver 2 behind Mike Evans, and this is a great start for him. We saw a lot of good things from the Buccaneers offense in the second half. We saw Baker Mayfield be able to move the offense down the field once they needed to, and that's when it's important. That's when it's important to do that, and he got the job done. They didn't do great on the rushing end. They only had 100 yards as a team. Bucky Irving only had 37 yards. Rachaad White only had 2 carries. It wasn't a great day on the rushing side. Baker Mayfield did his part, though. He had 39 rushing yards, which is solid. Bucky Irving did have a receiving touchdown, but that was about it on the offensive side for the Buccaneers. Now let's look onto the Falcons. The Falcons actually, I thought Michael Penix looked great. He only had 1 touchdown pass, but he had close to 300 yards passing and 21 yards on the rushing side with a touchdown. I thought Penix looked good. I thought Penix looked great in his first game this season. Bijan Robinson, he played all right, he wasn't great on the rushing end, only having 24 yards. However, he had 100 receiving yards with 6 receptions and a touchdown. That helped out a lot. And you saw a little bit more from Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, 7 receptions for 59 yards. Solid fantasy day. I know everyone's obsessed with Kyle Pitts saying, this year's the year. It's the year. We'll see. But Drake London, again, 8 receptions, only 55 yards. It was just their star powers. I don't think they got it going after Bijan. That touchdown by Bijan, I just think he slowed down a little bit. I think anybody can agree on that one. Yeah, it was just they could have done a lot better on the offensive side. It stalled at the end, but the Younghoe Koo missed field goal they can't do anything about. That's just tough. It's tough. But you did see good games on the defensive side from A.J. Terrell and Xavier Watts with 2 pass deflections and 6 tackles each. There's good stuff to look at on the defensive part of the game, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And Buccaneers snag one out of Atlanta. Yep. All right, next game we have to talk about here, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns. Bengals got the win. There's not much to say here because it's the Bengals. Week 1, they always play garbage. But this time they actually won, which is good. Joe Burrow, the Week 1. Joe Burrow came into play. He didn't have a turnover. However, he only had 113 passing yards, but he did have a touchdown. He threw a touchdown to Chase Brown. Chase Brown had a receiving touchdown, I believe. Let me look one more time. I want to make sure I'm going to tell you guys the right stats. Excuse me, it was Noah Fant, former Seahawk. But Chase Brown did have a rushing touchdown, only 43 yards on 21 carries, which is, it wasn't great. But yeah, this is something I would not panic on the Bengals because you guys know you guys didn't play well. But you guys know it's every year. You guys stink on Week 1. It's just a curse. But this time you actually won, so that's different. So you could take that away. But yeah, now let's look at the Browns side. The Browns, obviously, they kept up. They didn't play too bad. Joe Flacco had 2 interceptions. 1 came late, which was tough. But once again, your kicker, fortunately, didn't do great. He had two missed kicks, I believe. He had two. I'm looking at it right now. He missed an extra point and a field goal. So two missed kicks. That's not gonna help. Yeah, they would have won the game. Yeah, they would have won the game if their kicker was the problem here. But either way, it wasn't a good game for the Browns. However, they didn't deserve. Neither team deserved to win this game. You did see good games though from Myles Garrett, Isaiah McGuire. On the defensive side, you guys were very good. You guys could have a solid defense with Myles Garrett. There's not much to say here. Then on to next week. Because it was tough on both ends. You saw Dylan Sampson though, a rookie, get 8 receptions and 64 yards. Good stuff from him. I might try and pick him up in fantasy, actually. We'll see if I can get him because I think he could be good. There's so many running backs on that team with Jerome Ford, Quinton Judkins. We'll see what happens with that whole situation. But, yeah, let's move on. There's not much to say about this game, but then to say, Bengals got the win. Ugly, but they did. All right, here we have a little bit of a story. The Dolphins versus the Colts. The Colts destroyed the Dolphins. Wow. Daniel Jones looked fantastic. Daniel Jones looked amazing. Not much to say there. I mean, let's just look at his stats real quickly. We just saw an ass whooping in Indianapolis. He had 272 passing yards, a touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns, Daniel Jones. I think there's a stat where they had a point every single drive, so they had either a field goal or a touchdown. The Colts looked phenomenal. The Colts looked awesome. This was their first Week 1 win, and it was either 2012, 2013. That's always good. Yeah, I don't remember the Colts being 1-0. But let's just look on, how they did in general. Players did well. Michael Pittman was one. Michael Pittman had 6 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Good to see some action from him. And you saw some action from Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, your rookie tight end, had 7 receptions for 76 yards. And you saw Alec Pierce only had 1 catch, but however, it was a 36-yard gain, came at a great time. Yeah, this team just looked overall complete. Their defense was phenomenal with their new defensive coordinator from the Buccaneers. The Bengals. This defense could look different. This defense made the Dolphins look terrible. It was bad, really bad. Now moving on, let's talk about the Dolphins now since I mentioned it. The Dolphins. Yeah, you guys are in trouble. I would absolutely panic, yes. Tua played awful. It was embarrassing. It was bad. 2 interceptions. One was a garbage time touchdown. Don't really count, to be completely honest. Only had 114 yards. The only really player on the offense that did fine was Devon Achane. 7 receptions or 7 carries for 55 yards, and he had a touchdown catch. So that's the only really player who did really anything, to be completely honest. Besides that, you guys only had 1 sack on defense. The defense was atrocious. The defense stunk. Yeah, it was bad. And then, on the Colts side, they had 3 sacks, 4 tackles for losses, 5 pass deflections, and of course 2 interceptions. It was tough. Coming by Laidu. I definitely didn't pronounce that right. And Cam Bynum. Good work for the Colts. Let's see how they keep this up, because it would be cool to see Daniel Jones come back, especially not on the Giants. As a Giants hater, I don't like the Giants, so it'd be pretty cool seeing him win in Indianapolis. All right, next up, Las Vegas versus the Patriots in Foxborough. The Raiders get the win. The Raiders get the win here, 20-13. We saw a lot of great things today by the Raiders. 2 days ago. Filming this on Tuesday. Geno Smith looked great. 362 passing yards. He had an interception, but however, he did have a touchdown. And yeah, it was a fantastic day for him for sure. The Raiders offense, only had 20 points, but they did better than the amount of points that they scored, they said. And Ashton Genty, he was slow. He did have a touchdown, but he only had 2 yards per carry. He'll get better, though. I wouldn't panic yet. Brock Bowers, unfortunately, got hurt. I think he's okay. But when he was playing, he had 100 yards with 5 receptions. It was a good day for him for sure. It got cut short a little bit. But the Raiders, on the passing end, it was great. You saw Jacoby Myers get 8 receptions for 97 yards. Trey Tucker, he had 2 catches, but he got 54 yards on them, so 27 per catch. And you saw Deontay Thorin, once again, 2 big gains, 2 catches for 45 yards. And you saw Michael Mayer. I know he got involved late because, Brock Bowers got hurt, but he still had 4 catches for 38 yards. They got a lot of people involved today. Why do I keep saying today? They got a lot of people involved in this game, and it was enough to get the job done. While on the Patriots end, Drake May, he looked okay, like all right, to be honest. He got sacked, what was it, 4 times? I think it was 4 times. He did have 287 passing yards and a touchdown, but he also had an interception. But their offense is stalled on the rushing end. It was bad. They only had 60 rushing yards as a team. As Travion Henderson, they only gave him 5 carries, and Ramondre Stevenson only had 2.1 yards per carry. It was tough. It was tough for the Patriots. I mean, both defenses looked all right, but that was about it. But you could say on the offensive side, the Patriots, they had a couple players step up, like Kayshon Boutte. He had 103 yards with 6 receptions. He did all right. And you saw Hunter Henry get involved more, 4 receptions for 66 yards. But besides that, everybody kind of stalled out on the offensive side. On the defensive side, the Patriots look fine. I mean, Harold Landry had 2.5 sacks. So hopefully he can step up for that team. Yeah, Jalen Hawkins had a sack and 2 tackles for losses. Both sides, both defenses played well. But, Vegas gets the win. I hope that team does well because I'm a Seahawks fan, so I love Geno Smith and Pete Carroll. And I think Jamal Adams is on that team as well. I hope they do some big things. I hope they shock some people because I think they're a very likable team now. Yeah, I think they're likable. All right, next game here. This was the Cardinals versus the Saints at New Orleans. Cardinals got the win here. There's nothing much to say. Kyler Murray looked solid, had 2 touchdowns, 163 passing yards. You saw Marvin Harrison get involved more. He had a touchdown today with 5 receptions for 71 yards. He looked solid. And Trey McBride had 6 catches for 61 yards. Yeah, the passing end wasn't crazy, but the rushing end, they did solid. They had 3 main rushers, Trey Benson, James Conner, and of course Kyler Murray combined for 146 yards. They averaged 5.4 yards per carry, which is very solid. So overall, it was a solid game for the Cardinals. Their defense did step up, however. Their defense did well, allowing, only 13 points, no interceptions, no turnovers, I believe. But yeah, it was overall a solid game for the Cardinals. They probably could have beaten them by more because it's the Saints, but a win's a win. Now looking at the Saints end, Spencer Rattler did as expected, just fine. Like, he didn't do too bad. Alvin Kamara scored, but still that offense was pretty dry. Jawan Johnson did solid, though. He had 8 receptions for 76 yards. But that's all I can say for the Saints team right now. You saw Carl Granderson do well, 1.5 sacks, and same thing with Cam Jordan, 1.5 sacks. They had 5 sacks as a team, which actually is pretty solid. So their defense did look good, but that's about it. That's about it. All right, next game we got here, the Steelers versus the Jets at New York. The Steelers picked up the win in Aaron Rodgers' revenge game. He played amazing. 244 passing yards with 4 touchdown passes. Aaron Rodgers looked amazing. We can just start off with the Steelers. They got the win. They came back. The Jets were up by I think it was by 9 points, I believe. They were playing well. Both teams honestly did play well, but the Steelers got it done. Chris Boswell, that field goal at the end was clutch. And you saw DK Metcalf get 83 receiving yards for 4 catches. Calvin Austin, 4 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. You got 4 different players who got touchdowns. You saw Ben Skowronek with 1 catch, 22 yards with a touchdown. Jalen Warren with a touchdown, and Jonnu Smith with a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers was able to spread the ball out very well, and that's a big part of getting a win here in this league, just spreading the ball out. Yes, both defenses didn't play amazing, but it was a shootout. It was a shootout. Now I want to talk about the Jets because I know the Jets lost, but there were a lot of good signs. Justin Fields played very, very well. He played very well. 218 passing yards with a touchdown, but also 2 rushing touchdowns with 48 yards to add to that. You saw Breece Hall get 107 yards on 19 carries. You saw a lot of good things out of him. Garrett Wilson, 7 receptions, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Honestly, on the receiving end, the Jets played really well. Like, you guys should be happy with this game. I know you guys lost. It was tough. I know it was at home, and it was late loss. But there's, again, a lot of good things to take out of this. You saw that Justin Fields can play against the Steelers have a good defense, like a really good defense. And he lit them up. Having scoring over 30 points is great. So, yeah. There were both teams. The Steelers, I think, need to fix their defense. The Jets' defense I think it's got a lot worse, so they're going to have to figure that out. But it's really good to see that their offense is able to perform under Fields at quarterback. And I think there's a lot, once again, it's a lot of good things to take away. And the Steelers, Rodgers played well, so that should excite you a little bit. That really should excite you. All right, now moving on. The New York Giants versus the Washington Commanders at Washington. Washington got the win 21-6. So the main question everybody is asking: should the Giants move to Jackson Dart? We'll see. I think it'll happen later on this season because Russell Wilson did not look good. He did not look good at all. He didn't throw a touchdown pass. That offense was ugly, under a 50% completion percentage. Yeah, it was a tough day for the Giants on offense. It wasn't great for either team on offense. Daniels, he played fine, 233 yards and a touchdown. We saw a couple of different players on Commanders get some touchdowns here. We saw Ja'Cory Krusty-Merritt get a touchdown, and you also saw Zach Ertz get a touchdown. Yeah, it was mostly a field goal game for both sides. It was a pretty stale game in general. The Giants, takeaways from the Giants, the quarterback's going to be the issue. I know I do like Russ, but I don't really think he's the guy this season. I think moving Jackson Dart to that starting role will bring a lot of spark to this team, and I think he could be up for it. I mean, it's going to take some time, but I think he can ultimately work out. Yeah, but also on the rushing end, this is a problem seeing Tyrone Tracy only get 2.4 yards per carry. They have to figure out both ends on offense, rushing and passing. You saw Neighbors. Neighbors did okay, 71 yards, and Wandale Robinson, well, he had 55, but then everyone else just struggled. Darius Slade didn't even have a catch. The highest receiving yards person on this team was Daniel Bellinger with 14, besides Neighbors and Robinson. So that's a problem. That's a huge problem. The Giants' defense didn't look too bad, though. They had a couple quarterback hits, which was nice. He had 5 quarterback hits, which is good. But that's about it. I don't think they had any turnovers, but the Giants' defense, that was the one thing that maybe could keep them into games. So this was the reason why they didn't get blown out. All right, moving on. Jacksonville versus the Panthers in Jacksonville. Jacksonville got the win 26-10. So recap here, the one big thing is Travis Etienne is back, 143 yards with 16 carries. He had a fantastic day. I was happy to see him play well. I'm a big fan of Travis Etienne. I hope he does well. Yeah, he played really well. Very, very well. Did he have any touchdowns? He did not, but he was big on both ends. He also had 13 receiving yards with 3 catches. It was Travis Etienne could be big in fantasy now because Tank Bigsby just got traded. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he looked all right. I mean, both offenses weren't particularly good. He had a touchdown, however, also an interception. That was a great catch, by the way, if you guys saw that live. It was a one-handed catch, interception. It was pretty unlucky, but still, could have thrown a better ball. You saw Brian Thomas get a rushing touchdown, but he didn't really do anything on the receiving end, only having 1 catch. So they're going to need to figure out on the passing end, but the rushing end was good. They had 200 rushing yards as a team. So overall, they played solid, and their defense was great too. Now moving on to the Panthers side. Tough. It was a rough day. Bryce Young had a really bad day. 2 interceptions and only a touchdown. 154 passing yards. Chuba Hubbard only had 57 yards. Bryce Young had 40. He did okay on the rush again, but that was about it. You saw Ted McMillan, though, have 68 yards. He did all right. Chuba Hubbard had a touchdown. But that's about it. Both ends didn't really do much. I mean, J.C. Horn's interception was cool, but that's about it. I think that's about it. Yeah, Panthers. Bryce Young's going to need to get better quick because this is his year. He has to prove that he could be a starting quarterback in this league for an extension. If not, he could be doomed. He might be cooked. So both sides are going to have to figure it out. But I was happy for the Jaguars end. They used Travis Hunter a decent amount early on, at least 6 receptions for 33 yards. So he did get involved, and he also played defense a little bit. So it's good to see him out there. But the Jaguars with a nice win. It's just a solid win. Nothing crazy, but it's a good win. Next up are the Tennessee Titans versus the Denver Broncos. The Broncos won 20-12. This game was also very ugly. Well, but while both quarterbacks did not play well, even Bo Nix didn't play well. Had 2 interceptions and a touchdown, 176 passing yards. That's about it. In the touchdown, J.K. Dobbins had that late touchdown, which was huge. As a team, the rushing side, they were good. 151 yards is solid. And Cortland Sutton had a touchdown, which was good. And you saw things from Evan Ingram a little bit. I mean, both ends just weren't great on offense. Now moving on to Tennessee. Moore didn't really... I mean, listen, he had 12 completions out of 28, which is tough. But his offense wasn't helping him out. His offensive line is terrible. he still has those rookie situations where his pocket presence could be better. But if you saw his receivers, man, Calvin really sold a little bit. I know Cam Ward chucks the ball very hard, but they're NFL receivers, and he's particularly a good one. So he's gonna have to make those catches. I think his offense definitely could have done better for him, but at the end of the day, it's his first game against a really good defense in Denver. So there's not much to, I guess, be upset about, really. It's fine. They didn't have any touchdowns, unfortunately, but yeah. I believe it was just all field goals. They had 2 interceptions as a team. Their defense was solid. But yeah, they had 4 field goals. So at least they got down the field a little bit, but yeah, they got to figure it out definitely with Cam Ward, but it'll take time. So they should not panic. They'll be okay. They'll be completely fine. Now moving on in the 4 o'clock games. We have the Seattle Seahawks versus the 49ers at Seattle. The 49ers got the win 17-13. So I could talk a little bit about this game because I'm a Seahawks fan, and there's a lot of frustration. Number one, the Seahawks should have completely won this game. The offense completely died in the second half. It was bad. It was really bad. I saw some good things by Zach Charbonnet, which is good. Darnold didn't play great. However, that offensive line stunk. But the 49ers defense was overall good. JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba had a big day, 9 catches for 124 yards. But what really failed this game, unfortunately, was the defense, because this defense the defense played really well. They played really well the whole game, but that last drive was atrocious. I'm calling him out, Tariq Woolen. That was some of the most embarrassing football I've ever seen someone play in the fourth quarter. If you saw that go route on Ricky Pearsall, he just stopped when the ball wasn't even close to landing. And then Ricky Pearsall got like a 40, 50-yard gain. And then on that third down, you saw that Brock Purdy chucked it up. Tariq Woolen was right in front of the defender, completely moved out the way, and they caught a touchdown. Probably could have been picked off, at least deflected away. It may have been, it was third down. It was third down, but embarrassing. And that last drive, we were moving down the field. Darnold did well, and then he fumbled it. I think he dropped it. At first, I thought he got hit, but he dropped it. Yeah, that's tough. But I think we'll be fine. That offense we need to work on, though. I know that 49ers defense is great, but it's a tough loss because it's the 49ers, and I hate losing to them. So, yeah, we got a little lucky also because Jake Moody missed, 2 field goals? And one was like a 27-yarder. So we got a little lucky a little bit throughout the game, but still embarrassing. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers smoked the Detroit Lions. Yeah, this team looks completely different without Ben Johnson. That offense was garbage yesterday. We didn't see really anything on the offensive side. Jared Goff didn't even play well. He only had 225 yards and a touchdown, but he also had an interception. Jahmyr Gibbs had 2 yards per carry. They had 44 yards combined, which is, terrible. Laporte did okay, 79 receiving yards, but you saw bad things from Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra. But you saw that one catch was kind of sick. Isaac Tesla, that was cool. That could be the catch of the year, to be completely honest. That was good. But besides that, that defense was bad. But now we're moving on to the Packers side. This team looked great today. Their defense was amazing. Their offense was solid too. Saw good things out of Jordan Love. Didn't do anything crazy, nothing bad. Just got the job done. 188 yards on the passing end, 2 touchdowns. Saw Josh Jacobs score a little bit, and receiving end, you saw Jaden Reed scored. Romeo Doubs had 2 receptions, but for 68 yards, and Matthew Golden got 2 catches on his debut. Overall, it was a good day for this offense. 27 points is a lot. And for the defensive side, it was good. Evan Williams got a pick, and yeah, they also had 4 sacks. Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness had a half sack. Devontae Wyatt and Micah Parsons. Forgot to say, Micah Parsons made his debut with this team, and that defense looks great. The QB pressures they had were great. 9 QB hits is a lot. 9 quarterback hits is a very good amount. Very good win for the Packers. They're going to be scary. Super, super scary. All right, now we're moving on to the Rams versus the Texans. The Rams got the win 14-9. My big takeaway, at least for the Texans side, I am not even going to blame C.J. Stroud for this game. That offensive line is garbage. Garbage. Oh, my Lord. He had no time to throw the ball. Only 188 passing yards and an interception. But I don't even think that was his fault, to be completely honest. That offensive line is just horrible. The offense couldn't get anything going. Didn't have a single touchdown, just all field goals. It was tough, and C.J. Stroud didn't have a lot of help, to be completely honest. Yeah, you didn't even see good things from Nico Collins either. Only 3 receptions, 25 yards. The receiving yard leader was Jaden Higgins with 32. So it shows that offense couldn't get going. On the rushing end, they had 114 yards, which is all right. And they had a lot of different running backs, or not running backs and receivers run the ball here, and C.J. Stroud a little bit. Yeah, the offense was bad. On the Rams side, they looked fine. Both offenses weren't amazing, but Matthew Stafford played well, 245 yards and a touchdown. And you saw Kyren Williams score. The rushing end wasn't great. Kyren Williams did fine. That's about it, though. Puka Nacua played well, 130 yards on 10 receptions. Savante played fine, 4 catches with 51 yards. You saw a lot of different things out of this Rams offense, and it worked out enough. They did have a turnover, but that was about it. Colby Parkinson fumbled. But this defense was great. They had 3 sacks. They had a sack from Byron Young, Tyler Davis, and Jalen McCullough. Overall, the Rams defense played well. They were able to take advantage of that offensive line by the Texans. So good for them. Good win for the Rams. All right, now we move to prime time. We move to Sunday Night Football. This could be an early candidate for Game of the Year. The Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills, in which the Buffalo Bills got the win 41-40. Fantastic game. Oh my God, it was cinema. Both quarterbacks played amazing. Josh Allen, however, unbelievable performance. 394 passing yards, 2 touchdowns on the passing end, 2 rushing touchdowns. He was unbelievable. Josh Allen proved why he's the MVP. And you saw James Cook also play well. He only had 44 rushing yards. However, he did have a touchdown. And he also almost had a receiving touchdown. 5 catches for 58 yards for him was very good. Keon Coleman also, 8 receptions, 112 yards, and a touchdown. We saw a lot of great things from many different receivers, such as Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid also had a touchdown. Yeah, this offense was fantastic. And also on the Ravens side, their offense was great too. Lamar played well. 209 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown, 70 yards. Derrick Henry, he did have 2 touchdowns and 169 yards. He did fumble, I know. He did fumble late, but this game was completely not his fault. It was the defense. It was defense's fault. That defense struggled. Both defenses did, to be fair. But this was just a fantastic game from a neutral fan. From these, I don't care about these 2 teams very much. It was really fun to see. It was a great game to see. You saw Zay Flowers also come into play, 143 yards and a touchdown. So this game was. Yeah, this was a fantastic Sunday night game. It was amazing. And last night, Monday Night Football, finally, we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Chicago Bears, where the Minnesota Vikings came back by, it was 11 points in the 4th, and they were able to get the win. J.J. McCarthy, he played really well. In that final quarter, he really locked in. He was really focused. He looked amazing out there in the end. He only had 143 passing yards, but had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, which came late in the game. Huge touchdown to seal the win in Chicago. Yeah, the Bears had the lead for a while. Caleb Williams in that offense played really, really well in the first half, but things couldn't get going in the second half. I think there was a stat before the final drive, which they did end up playing well. They had -9 offensive yards in the second half, which is terrible. Yeah, there's not much to say. This offense just looked really bad in the second half, while the Vikings offense looked great in the second half. We saw Justin Jefferson get involved late, as he wasn't doing anything special. Jones got a receiving touchdown, but Sam Darnold was definitely the show here. He was the face of this game as his first career game. He played really, really well. Even Caleb Williams, I didn't think he played that bad either. Just that offensive line also. That's another story. That offensive line stunk too. So. Yeah, and Caleb also had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. So, overall, fantastic win for the Vikings. The Bears are going to bear again. It's tough. It's tough being a Bears fan, I'm sure. I'm not one, thank God. It would be tough to beat one. All right, and that is it for episode 56 of JK Sports Talk. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to follow our socials on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and X. All at JK Sports Talk, and we'll see you guys next time.